In the realm of fiction, truth can be stranger than fiction, blurring the lines between imagination and reality. This is the haunting tale of Krystian Bala, a Polish author whose debut novel, Amok, would become his undoing, exposing a dark secret that had haunted him for years. The novel, a gritty crime thriller, centered around a writer who commits the perfect murder, leaving no trace behind. It was a chilling read, but what made it truly disturbing was its eerie resemblance to a real-life cold case that had baffled Polish authorities for years. Bala's novel, published in 2003, seemed to have all the elements of a fictional thriller: a cunning killer, a mysterious disappearance, and a trail of false leads. But as readers delved deeper into the narrative, they couldn't shake off the unsettling feeling that something about the story felt all too real. It was as if Bala was not just writing a crime novel but confessing to a crime, hiding his guilt in plain sight. The real-life case that would become intertwined with Bala's novel began in 2000, with the disappearance of Dariusz Januszewski, a businessman from the Polish city of Wrocław. Januszewski vanished without a trace, leaving behind a wife and a cloud of suspicion. The police initially treated it as a missing persons case, but as time passed and leads dried up, it became clear that something more sinister might have occurred. Rumors circulated about Januszewski's business dealings, his gambling debts, and a possible affair, but no concrete evidence emerged. The case went cold, leaving Januszewski's family and friends in a state of agonizing uncertainty. It seemed like the truth about his fate might never be known, buried under years of speculation and unanswered questions. That is, until Bala's novel, Amok, landed on the desk of a detective who had never given up hope of solving Januszewski's case. The detective, whose identity has been protected, was struck by the similarities between the fictional murder in Amok and the unsolved Januszewski case. The victim in the novel, like Januszewski, was a businessman who had disappeared. The method of murder in the book, which involved torture and strangulation, mirrored the injuries that Januszewski was suspected to have sustained. Even the details about the disposal of the body in the novel seemed to align with what little the police knew about the Januszewski case. The detective couldn't shake off the feeling that Bala's novel was more than just a work of fiction. It was as if the author had intimate knowledge of the crime, knowledge that only the perpetrator could possess. The detective decided to pursue this hunch, and soon a team of investigators was assigned to re-examine the Januszewski case, this time with Krystian Bala, the novelist, in their crosshairs. The investigation into Krystian Bala was like navigating a labyrinth of mirrors, where the line between fiction and reality was constantly shifting. Bala, with his sharp intellect and air of detachment, seemed both an unlikely suspect, and yet, the more the police delved into his life, the more he fit the profile. Interviews with Bala's friends and acquaintances painted a picture of a man obsessed with crime and punishment. He was known to frequent internet forums dedicated to true crime, and he had even boasted to friends about his ability to commit the perfect murder. As the police pieced together Bala's movements in the months leading up to and following Januszewski's disappearance, a pattern of suspicious behavior began to emerge. Phone records placed Bala in the vicinity of Januszewski's office on the day of his disappearance, and financial records revealed that Bala had come into a significant sum of money shortly after Januszewski vanished. While this circumstantial evidence was enough to raise suspicions, it was not enough to convict. The police needed concrete evidence linking Bala to the crime. Section 5: The cigarette butt and the parking ticket. The breakthrough in the case came from an unexpected source: a discarded cigarette butt and a parking ticket. Investigators, meticulously retracing Bala's steps in the days surrounding Januszewski's disappearance, discovered a parking ticket issued to Bala's car near the victim's office on the day he went missing. Further analysis revealed a crucial piece of evidence. A cigarette butt found near the scene contained traces of Bala's DNA. This forensic link, combined with the circumstantial evidence, painted a damning picture of Bala's involvement in Januszewski's disappearance. The novelist, who had so confidently written about the perfect murder, had made a series of careless mistakes, leaving behind a trail of clues that would ultimately lead to his downfall. Section 6: The web of evidence tightens. As the investigation progressed, the web of evidence surrounding Krystian Bala grew tighter. The police uncovered evidence that Bala had purchased a hunting knife shortly before Januszewski's disappearance, a knife that matched the description of the murder weapon described in his novel. They also found traces of Januszewski's blood in Bala's car, despite Bala's attempts to thoroughly clean the vehicle. Bala, under intense scrutiny and facing mounting evidence against him, maintained his innocence, claiming that the similarities between his novel and the Januszewski case were purely coincidental. He argued that his interest in crime was purely for his writing, and that he had never met Januszewski. However, the prosecution argued that Bala's novel was not a work of fiction, but a carefully crafted confession, a way for him to relive his crime and taunt the authorities. Section 7. The weight of circumstantial evidence. The trial of Krystian Bala, which began in 2007, captivated Poland and the international community. It was a case that hinged largely on circumstantial evidence, as there were no eyewitnesses to the crime and no confession from the defendant. The prosecution presented a compelling case, arguing that the sheer number of similarities between Bala's novel and the Januszewski case, coupled with the physical evidence linking him to the crime scene, could not be dismissed as mere coincidence. The defense, on the other hand, argued that the prosecution's case was built on speculation, and that the evidence was insufficient to prove Bala's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. They pointed out that Bala had no clear motive for killing Januszewski and that the prosecution had failed to establish a direct link between the two men. After weeks of testimony and deliberation, the jury reached a verdict: guilty. Krystian Bala was convicted of the murder of Dariusz Januszewski and sentenced to 25 years in prison. The verdict sent shockwaves through the literary world and beyond, as people grappled with the realization that a novelist could draw inspiration for a crime from real life, blurring the lines between fiction and reality with chilling consequences. The case against Bala, while largely circumstantial, was deemed strong enough by the jury to warrant a guilty verdict. The judge, in his sentencing remarks, stated that Bala had shown a lack of remorse, and that his crime was calculated and cold-blooded. The judge also noted the eerie similarities between the murder described in Bala's novel and the real-life killing, stating that it was highly improbable that these similarities were coincidental. Following his conviction, Krystian Bala maintained his innocence, claiming that he was a victim of a miscarriage of justice. He appealed his conviction, but his appeal was rejected by a higher court. Bala is currently serving his sentence in a Polish prison, his life forever altered by the crime he committed and the chilling novel that exposed his dark secret. The case of Krystian Bala continues to fascinate and disturb, serving as a cautionary tale about the power of obsession, the allure of the macabre, and the thin veil that separates fiction from reality. It is a story that raises questions about the nature of creativity, the ethics of true crime, and the responsibility of artists to confront the darkness within themselves without succumbing to its allure. The Bala case sparked a debate about the relationship between fiction and reality, particularly in the true crime genre. Some argued that Bala's case was an isolated incident, a bizarre anomaly in the world of literature. Others, however, saw it as a chilling reminder that the line between fiction and reality can be dangerously thin, especially for writers who delve into the darkest recesses of the human psyche. The case also raised questions about the responsibility of writers when it comes to their subject matter. Should writers be held accountable for the content of their work, even if it is fictional? Can a work of fiction ever truly be divorced from the author's own experiences and worldview? These are complex questions with no easy answers, but they are questions that the Bala case forces us to confront. The case of Krystian Bala, the novelist who exposed himself through his own true crime novel, continues to fascinate and disturb, serving as a chilling reminder of the power of words and the enduring allure of the macabre. It is a case that blurs the lines between fiction and reality, leaving us to ponder the nature of creativity, the ethics of true crime, and the responsibility of artists to confront the darkness within themselves without succumbing to its allure. Bala's story is a cautionary tale, a reminder that even in the realm of fiction, the truth has a way of seeping through. It is a story that will continue to be told and analyzed for years to come, a stark reminder of the dark side of human nature and the enduring power of a story well told, even if that story is one of deception, murder, and the ultimate betrayal of one's own art.